that we do
Yeah.
not have a youth movement that is interested in him. They're more interested in people like Tucker and Candace. And yes, we're dealing with Fuentes in real time. Hopefully that will continue to surface. But the person that I wanted to bring up tonight, because I'm sure you've noticed the commentary that he's been making in Candace's direction in particular, is another one of the biggest Christian Zionist pastors out there, and that's Greg Locke. Now, this guy, who is based in Tennessee, this is a clip that actually came out a couple of months after October 7th. I want people to remember who this guy is.
Israel should make the Gaza Strip a parking lot by this time next week. Destroy the whole thing. And anybody that's going to support this Hamas nonsense. Listen, Joe Biden ought to be tried for treason. You understand that? Now, I get it. Obama's the real president behind him anyhow, and so he's the one that ought to be tried for treason. So I hope Netanyahu's a leader and he just mows the whole thing down by this time next week.
I have often said that, as stereotypical as this is, the Jewish Zionists provide the money and the Christian Zionists provide the flock. That's how this has worked for a very long time. And Locke is one of the absolute worst of them all. Why is he coming after Candace as hard as he is right now in very vile threats, as far as I can tell? Your thoughts?
First of all, Greg Locke is a heretic. He will absolutely burn in hell if he does not repent. Okay. He is not a real Christian. He clearly is not. I'm a Christian. Nothing that he just said it jives with Christianity. I hear this and I see you draped. I'm sorry, if you are a Christian, your job is to bring people to Christ. When you are draping yourself in political ideology like this at the pulpit, it infuriates me, it disgusts me, it repulses me. Sorry, I have to get that out there. I cannot stand this man. He is a heretic, and he is leading those people to hell in his congregation. That said, he's also on the payroll. He just is, okay? And you also need, these people are actors, right? He absolutely is an actor. Locke, Hagee, McCoy, Metaxas,
Copeland. Can't forget Kenneth Copeland.
Yes. Copeland is. They say that demons.
He's the scary. Like if you could see a demon, he's got demon eyes if ever.
He does. He's got those club fingers too of an alcoholic, right? He's just awful. But no, so there's a whole list of them, but they're all on the payroll. They get paid. I have tracked this. I've been tracking right now. What I've been tracking is the Philos Project, which is that's Paul Singer's baby out of Paul Singer, who is Manhattan Institute funder. He's the head of the Elliott, I believe it's Elliott Investments, and he's the guy just pretty much got Trump to overthrow Maduro, right? Because he now owns the rights to Citgo. But so Paul Singer's baby is the Philos Project, which when it was started was supposed to be this kind of like, we're for Christians in the Middle East, right? And we're going to combat ISIS, which of course we know who funded ISIS.
You're doing a little bit of noticing there, Mel. You're not supposed to.
You're not supposed. I've done a hell of a lot more than noticing. I've tracked the shit. All right. Okay. So you can find it. But so Philos is actually one of the original funders of the NAR, which is the New Apostolic Reformation, which is this kind of bastardization of Pentecostals. I was a little hard on the Pentecostals. I actually got a lot of pushback from people in my own personal life who are Pentecostals, and my whole life I've known them. They're good people. I don't have anything against Pentecostals. I was actually a little shocked to find I was getting my hair done, and I was talking to my the lady who owns the salon. She's not my hairdresser, but she owns the salon. And she, at the time, I'm sitting here talking crap about Pentecostals, and she's doing a Pentecostal preacher's wife's hair. They're listening to me this whole time. And I start talking about this NAR movement. And this woman, her husband, they have a pretty decent sized congregation. She's like, I've never heard of this. She calls her husband. Her husband's never heard of this. And then we start talking about the 7 Mountain Mandate. So that actually gave me hope that, okay, they haven't infiltrated all of them, right? And of course, they all listen to Candace. Everybody watches Candace, and they're waking up. So that's one thing. That's the reason why they hate Candace so much. Because when you get, the Pentecostal preachers' wives listening to this stuff, this crap that Greg Locke is pulling, it doesn't work anymore, right? Because what he's asking you to do is to close your eyes and your ears to reality, right? Which is the fact that Israel's dropping bombs on babies. Okay. They're murdering women and children and innocent men in tents every single day. There's nothing Christian about this, okay? He's asking you to just close your eyes and just pretend like that's not what's happening.
Well, the other thing that you also have to remember, and this is the biggest reason why I believe they've come at Candace as hard as she has, we have seen this with all of them. Whether it is again, so many of them hide behind, what was the one, something Barbie, whatever the hell her name is. But you've got all of these, commentators on X that are either, sucking Trump's balls every day and, never criticizing anything that he does. And to me, it's no different than what these Christian Zionist pastors are doing, which is it's all for a paycheck. And the thing about Candace, like Tucker, what do those two have in common that very few others have? They have fuck you money. And when you have fuck you money, you do not have to answer to anybody. And the fact that Candace is married to somebody who, in my personal opinion, is connected to MI6, there is a lot of things that people can do that others can't. And when you have that ability to use that leverage for good, hey, you have my respect, because who else is going to do it? That, to me, is really what it comes down to. So somebody like Greg Locke, who is all the more ready, willing, and able to get on his knees in more ways than one for that paycheck, and you're going to get in the way of his ability to make a very comfortable living by saying, I'm Israel High, of course he's going to come after you. Why the hell wouldn't he? The guy's a psycho to begin with. So it's easy to see why he's threatening Candace in the way that he is. When you get psychopathic people, you get in the way of their money, there's very little that they'd be willing to not do to protect it.
Well, going back to what you said earlier, when you talk about these rich and these elite and the kind of the gap, right? The income gap, the wealth gap. We've reached a point where I do think so you get so much money, right? All your needs are provided for. These people get bored. They have holes in their hearts that aren't filled with things like family and real friends and the things that actually make life worth living, right? They're never religious. They don't seek good. They don't seek a higher power, nothing like that. So they have to fill the hole in their hearts and in their lives with something. And very often, so most of the time people just go for more monetary things, right? The more money, they just buy more shit, right? You get bigger cars, houses, Jeff Bezos, built a freaking boat that you have to take down a bridge for whatnot, just a bullshit like that, right? And then some of them seek much darker things to fill the hole, obviously, because the dark calls to them, right? So, but if you have the FU money, the fuck you money, and you don't have a hole in your heart, that you have a family, you have children who love you, you have friends, and you have a strong faith, right? It actually makes it really easy to pursue the light, to pursue the good, right? And when it comes down to it, really is a spiritual battle that we're fighting. It's good, it's light versus darkness, good and evil. I know that sounds simplistic to people, but It's not actually. It really is what it all comes down to. Now, of course, it gets more complicated when you get into like what drives each thing. But you know, you have to seek the light. We do. We have to recognize the darkness, and we have to go towards the light. And it's hard, and you have to go through trials and tribulations and things like that. But I think what you see, and we saw with Candace, I mean, they certainly put her through the darkness trying to get out of that. And yeah, if you have the ability, if you have the financial ability, then obviously it makes things much easier. You know, going back to, you know, when I said Charlie liked my stuff, and that's why I would get so pissed at him, because I'm like, I know you see it, and you're not doing enough, right? And then they killed him. And
it wasn't, and the thing that and this is the thing that I think people need to understand when they talk about people like Tyler Boyer. It's like, are they dirty, corrupt sons of bitches? Of course they are, but they don't have you're talking about amateurs. You're talking about this was the biggest political assassination since Bobby Kennedy. Like, there hasn't been something where somebody had that level of impact in the political arena that got removed. Like, there's been other attempts on people's lives. I mean, listen, Reagan almost spit the bit in 1981.
Yep.
There's been moments, but in terms of actually taking the person out, that this has not happened. So to say that it's a significant story would be an understatement. And it's a significant story because we know where the roads are leading. And that's why having this conversation tonight, I thought, was immensely important, because these stories are not going away. And now that we know that the justice system is not going to do anything for we the people, it is incumbent upon we the people to provide our own form of justice.